What's up, guys? I'm Frosty the Sandwich. Welcome back to Marvel Rivals. I am in GM2, and I've been playing a lot of Doctor Strange in between GM1 and GM2. I've been able to climb pretty consistently, and I thought I'd show one of the better games I had on him. We did have one diamond on the other team. If you think that's the reason they lost, you might be correct. Banning, I still usually wait to see if I probably could have tried to vote for Luda here. I don't really value banning Storm right now. I honestly don't think she's as strong as Hela or Hawkeye in terms of DPS, even though she is really good, in my opinion. I still don't think she outclasses those characters, but I actually prefer banning out supports over DPS right now. Instead, I would probably look to ban Luna or Invisible Woman. Thankfully, we do have a Luna ban. In fact, I don't know if you saw for a split second, but I did have Luna highlighted to have her banned. Unfortunately, we did not get that ban through, but it is what it is. Sometimes you're just going to have to deal with having bans. Sometimes you're going to have to deal with double bans, which is something that also happened here. Is we both ended up banning Bruce Banner. Right off the bat, we're going to use our portal. I really like using portal on this point, especially to come back here, give your team immediate high ground behind the enemy team, typically, and it just usually sets you up for success on this point right off the bat. We did drop down a little bit, which may have been a little bit of an overcommittal, but we do need to take the space down here, and we are the shield tank, so we drop down here. Thankfully, our magic player also comes down and takes space, and once we actually push in, the rest of the team comes in and cleans up. Super easy first point. I think Doctor Strange is incredibly powerful on this map, not only for his kit, but because of his portal. Being able to just reposition on this point is really powerful, and I definitely recommend, even if you don't want to play Strange, maybe just pick him on this point and use that portal to get your enemy, to get your team on point, and then you can go and swap after you've used the portal cooldown. Here we're just pushing up aggressively. This is maybe a little too aggressive, but we don't want to have to fight them up this hill. Essentially, it was what I was thinking here. We want to be able to fight them on at least even ground, if not the high ground. And so if you can, you won't always be able to do this, but if you can on this point, run up the hill if you're the tank and try and hold the top of the hill so they can't push up and hold you at the top, because it can be incredibly hard to push up the choke on this point. There's a lot of really good angles for them. Thankfully, we had really good healers this round, and they had kind of understood the assignment and ran up the hill after me and kept me healthy so I could just keep the enemy team at bay. A lot of my playstyle on Doctor Strange is just holding down chokes and forcing the enemy team to either have to try and go around me or push through me, and just zone them off of the cart, constantly zone them off cart. Another thing you'll see me doing is constantly putting the shield up and dropping it. I don't typically hold it up for too long. I really do like to kind of pull it up and drop it down a lot. And one of the reasons I do that is because I hold down my primary fire on Doctor Strange, and if you do that with the shield up, as soon as you drop the shield, you'll fire. And so a lot of the times when I'm dropping the shield, it's just a fire projectile, and I'll usually pull it back up. And you can also add a melee cancel in there too. It's not really a cancel. It's just meleeing after his primary attack. If you do melee too quickly, you can cancel the primary from going off, but I don't believe there's any animation to cancel on the end of his primary fire. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe that to be true. But yeah, a lot of my core playstyle is just kind of dancing around with the shield and pulling it up in between my primary fire, charge up for the E, and try and close the gap on a squishy target, usually a healer, and unleash my full combo on them, which is basically you auto attack, you use your whip, which is your melee, and then you hit your E ability on them, and that should usually outright kill a healer if they're not receiving healing from the other healer. Another thing I like to do is I usually try and levitate before I pull my ult off to to just come in from above and make it a little harder for them to anticipate what I'm about to do, which I was able to do here and catch that Penny and Luna off guard and make sure they weren't able to come back and touch the cart. So yeah, really easy push there. I think Doctor Strange is just as I think he's as strong on defense as he is on offense. I don't think he has a weak side, to be completely honest. He really is do it all tank. And so here we don't have any fancy portal to use here, but we can just stand in the enemy choke and get annihilated by the enemy team, which is something you might become accustomed to if you are a Strange player. Sometimes you'll just die. He's not a very mobile character. You do have a levitate there, but a levitate in an enclosed space is going to do nothing for you. And since we are the only tank on our team right now, if we fall, it pretty much means they get the point. Magic is sort of like an off tank in some regards, but we don't have anyone who can really frontline. So if we go down, they definitely just have to give up the space, which is what happened there. It's just something you're gonna have to deal with when you're a Vanguard player. Is know that a lot of the game revolves around your decisions. I think that might be one of the reasons we see a lot less people auto-locking Vanguard over support and DPS. Here the Groot got a huge ult on our team, so we want to back up and shield them as best we can and make sure the enemy team can't come in and capitalize on that. Here we kind of got a little aggressive. We were basically backing up our magic, but honestly we probably should have just hung it back and stuck with our team. There's still 3 people on the enemy team on point, I believe. And we need to deal with them somehow. And I believe it's their healers and their group players, so it's going to be very hard to push them off point, and it gives the rest of their team the opportunity to come get on point. Thankfully, we have farmed up our ult here, so we can look to be a little more aggressive. We're definitely not going to just walk up and ult, though. I believe we do go around to the right. So one thing I really like to do here is use the high ground. Not only will it give us the element of surprise, but it actually lets us get a visual on them when they can't see us. So it's very easy to plan out an ult and get a big ult like this when you're using elevation to your advantage. Unfortunately, the Luna does counter ult here, but it looks like I think she swapped to the damage buff right at the worst time, and she actually does go down there. So we're able to push the enemy team all the way back to their spawn. And this is actually a very hard position for them to push out of on this map. Right here, there's really not a whole lot of flanking opportunities. They really do have to just walk up this ramp. So if you can get a wipe on the enemy team here, this is a very good spot to hold them. Your goal is to run out the timer on defense. So if you can find really good spots to hold, even if it's away from the cart, you always want somebody to be watching cart, but you're the Vanguard, so you don't necessarily need to be on cart all the time. If the cart's going back like it is in the state right now, you can absolutely come take space up in the enemy team's face and force them to have to deal with you. And right now we're doing a really good job of that, just being as obnoxious as possible on Strange and making it very hard for them to do anything, take any space or even remotely come close to the cart. Another core aspect of Doctor Strange's gameplay that I haven't really touched on yet is his melee. His melee does cleave, or it'll hit everyone in the AoE range of it, meaning you can hit multiple people, and it does charge his E. So you can actually get your charge on your E a lot quicker if you're in the thick of an enemy and you're weaving melees in. You still want to be primary firing, because the primary fire does deal a lot of damage, but you always want to be weaving melees in between those to maximize your damage and farm your E up quicker, because it also deals a lot of damage, and the more you get it up to 100 and deal that damage to a player, the more impactful you're going to be across the game. And another thing to note on that is you can combo it with his ultimate. His E is incredibly good with his ultimate, so you want to always have it at 100% when you look to ult, because it'll hit when you push the person out of their body, it basically creates 2 hitboxes for them, and you can hit both of them, basically dealing double damage with his E. They did nerf the damage on his E, so it's going to be a little less impactful than it used to be. But you can still, if you get a 3-4 man ult and you have a full charged E, you can sometimes just kill them outright on your own, and not even need a DPS to back you up. That Strange deals a lot of damage. I see him easily top damaging games, even at GM rank. I still see plenty of Doctor Stranges that kind of just carry the game on their own. And if you are, I made a tier list a couple of weeks ago, and I might make a new one for season 1 about like who to just solo climb with. But I think Strange is the GOAT when it comes to solo climbing. And what you just saw is one of the reasons for it. I mean, even if you die, you can teleport back to point, make a huge ult. Like I used the portal to hide my ult there and came into the back line and got a huge nuke off. Unfortunately, we were a little late to the cart and they got the point anyway. So that was a bit of a mistake on my part, but still, we very easily could have come in and held the point down for a lot longer than we did there, just by using his portal and his ultimate. There's a lot of utility in Strange's kit that just other characters don't have. Yeah, like his portal really is game-changing. So don't sleep on it. Got a long cooldown for a reason. But other than that, you are kind of like the epicenter. You always kind of want to be in the center of attention and in the middle of the lane. You still want to use cover. I mean, don't be a damage sponge. Don't just intentionally take damage for no reason. And you need to heal your shield up too. But for the most part, you are the main tank. You stand on the cart. If the cart is not yours, and if the cart is yours, you either stand on the cart or you stand somewhere down line of it at a choke point to prevent the enemy team from making it to it. That is your role as Doctor Strange, and you can make huge plays here. And they actually almost get this push here, but thankfully that our Luna comes in with a clutch counter ult on their Luna ult, and that gives us the time to push in, get an ult of our own off, and that seals the deal. We're able to push them off cart and win the game. Super close game there, though. This easily could have gone into overtime, so I'm really happy we did win it. We did go 40-4 here, which don't sleep on the Vanguards. It's not just duelists that can get frags. If you're looking to frag out, play some Doctor Strange. I promise you won't be disappointed. And let me know if you guys learned something in this. Please let me know. I really enjoy doing these, and I want to get better at doing them. So if you have any tips for how I could get better, let me know in the comments. And other than that, please like, comment, subscribe. It really does help me out. And until next time, stay frosty.